you don't particularly have one of these. Sometimes I've heard that usually one sense stands out.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're a visual person, you might then be on that level more clairvoyant.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
It tends to transition. But you're right. Usually there is one sense that's kind of dominant, and I see that with my students.
Yes.
But really, basically, I would say the mediumship is a dominance because they're constantly, people who have gone on from the other side, they're constantly chattering away. So it's like ghosts that are kind of, especially when I'm in a lecture or here now, they're lined up around the corner, around the room. And
right now.
You know, just like
let me stop you
exactly.
right there. Let me stop you. Do we get your attention yet?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you're saying that the spirits right now, here and now, are lined up around.
Yeah.
They like it that you're here.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what I get. I love it.
I think they because they come in for you, really.
Well,
but anybody
not particularly. Yeah,
right?
They can tell that you're here. Yeah, and what are they? Where are they? You just sense them, and tell us how you sense them.
It's on another dimension, and that's one thing I'd like to share with you.
Sure.
A lot of people
Please
say,
do.
you know, how do you read it? Do you get it from angels or guides? I don't go through any guides. I don't go through angels. Mine is, that's why I guess I'm a bit different, and the readings are a tiny bit different. I go through dimensions.
Okay.
And I literally, like, when I do a reading, I always say, if you're new to me, I go backwards. So I go backwards, I can go forwards in the same time, go forwards, backwards, and on the side as well. So, I mean, in the future. So that's way, I literally am more, liquid. And then I can transition any time through any of them. And that's why otherwise going through, as we said, an interpreter when you're doing a mediumship, that's the only time that I have to wait until they get their communication to me, and then I'll give it to it. But otherwise I go independent of that, especially for the future, because I don't go through
well, how did you first, or did you answer this already, but learn to do, how did that first come to you?
Yeah, that was, I thought everybody had this. And this was the strange bit, was because, you know, when you don't have something, you know, maybe like a weird laugh, you think everybody's got a weird laugh or something. But basically, I thought everybody had this, and precognitive, and you know, that you can tell things happening just before they do. So I found later that upon actually speaking to, I think it was a piece of the universe in Scottsdale, the owner, and she said, that's what you are. You've got so many, but you really are a claircognitive, and that's what I never knew. I just did it. You don't think about those things, really. You and I don't.
No, you don't.
You're just so much in it. You haven't got time to analyze it.
No, and you think that, like you said, that's just that way for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you find out you're not quite.
So, anyway,
isn't. Wow.
I guess I've recently only, after starting the book about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I've realized when people said, well, how do you do it? Then I realized I have to define it, and realized I don't. You know, when people say, oh, you're going through angels? No. Going through guides? No. I mean, it's very clear when you do. You know that.
And what you, you know, the message that you get for them very often, right there, will confirm.
Correct.
Right. It doesn't have to be through, right?
Yes.
Well, you tell them, let's go with your book now. You're writing a book.
Yes.
Is that right? It sounds like it's really interesting. Yeah, tell us about it.
It's
and what
about
it's
this big now. No. Yes, actually it is. It's quite huge.
Huge library.
Well, actually, it's called the Epoch Succession. Yes, actually it is. It's quite huge.
Huge library.
Well, actually, it's called the Epoch Succession,
Epoch Succession.
That's right. And it was meant to be out earlier, and it was on really originally 2012, because there was a lot of fear coming into this year.
Yes.
And I was trying to show them that there is no fear, and if I'm wrong, I'll be dead, so I'm not going to worry about it.
You guys.
Exactly. No, but I saw that it's beyond, you know, obviously we're going to survive it. The next few months. I don't believe that there's going to be such a huge end of the world per Hollywood. Sorry, Hollywood, but no. But basically, it's a book about what the future is, but it's also giving, you know, addressing what fear is. A huge chapter. I won't go into it completely, but energy, and that's how I'm reading. And your reading is through energy, and energy is in everything and is everything.
Is everything.
And that is how I'm trying to explain. In a way, we touch a lot of layman's physics to try and explain it as well, but also explain what we do. Because a lot of people think, you know, some people think it's voodoo, you know, the woo-woo stuff. But then the others really get it, what we're trying to do, and we are just conduits.
And so tell me a little bit about your book. Do you have your chapters yet?
Yes,
or do you have different subjects? And
it's going to be a bit different. I'm giving signs of the change, and I really honestly believe that the change is not about the 2012 shift in the Mayan calendar, but it's a shift of 3 dimensions being interwoven in our own existence, and that is what we do in ourselves. So that is plus an explanation, but the signs, which all have come true, I'm afraid, on the YouTube, so we'll talk about that later, but basically all the predictions. But it's also giving actual exercises, Martha, for, you know, it got me so annoyed when people would write books and say, oh, this is wrong, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and, you know, put fear in everybody, but then say, well, bye, that's the end of the book. So I'm giving exercises to not counteract so much as understand it and be in charge and completely not independent, but I would say not even insulated, and help them with exercises to get through the fear of money and you know, the economy, or what their future is, or health. So there's little exercises dotted around that would also accompany everything.
Well, can you give us a clue on what one little exercise would be? Let's say what we could do if I'm really concerned about the financial end of it?
Yeah, the financial. Now, there is...
and let me just say, that is to do with this time.
Correct.
To bring it back to that, in case you just tuned in. We're back to the time of 2012, and
the energies that we're existing in.
And what we hear about, and the fears. And
yeah, especially after the last few days, and the markets, stock markets. You know, people, and of course Europe going in there too. But really, a quick exercise, I would even go to the YouTube. I've already put it. There's a one called, and there are a few, but one's a kick in the head, but this one's a kicker.